Welcome to Business Ambassadors. I'm Christian Tombers, owner of Charlie Tango Productions, LLC, ThinkSales101.com. Today my guest is Marti Lindell from Senior Connections. Welcome, Marti. How you doing?
Thank you. Good to see you.
Tell us about Senior Connections.
Well, Senior Connections is a little business I started in 2011. I saw that there was a great need in the community for a referral service that no one else had actually started or seen. And I was getting a lot of calls from seniors, particularly looking for services throughout the community, but they didn't know who to call. They don't use the yellow pages anymore. They really prefer a personal referral. But if someone was looking for some help with some light housekeeping because they couldn't do things on their own anymore, or they couldn't prepare meals for themselves, or they needed to find a handyman to come in and do a few things around their house, they didn't know who to call. They didn't know who they could trust. And so Senior Connections was set up to be that connector. So think of it as kind of a conduit between the senior and the provider of the service that they might need. So what I did is develop a network of service providers who specialize in a particular area of care that a homeowner might need or that a senior might need. And I became that connector for the senior or for the family of an elderly person. Sometimes our elderly people are no longer able to live at home because of security or safety reasons. And the family needs to start thinking about transitioning their loved one into maybe assisted living, or if they have health issues, maybe into nursing care. And they often want someone to give them a personal referral, someone who knows the market, someone who's been in those facilities, and can give them an assessment of maybe which ones would meet the needs of their senior loved ones. So the business was set up to be a connection or a referral service.
And the service providers, you personally do some background checking, pre-screen, and make sure that they're trustworthy, honest, follow all the rules, licensing, etc.?
I don't have to do that because they've already gone through lengthy background checks, and most of the providers are already either on Angie's list or they're registered with the Better Business Bureau. These are all usually small business entrepreneurs who offer a service. Some of them even offer a senior discount to an elderly person. But the idea was that elderly people, seniors especially over 70 or between 70 and 80, they really want to stay in their own home, living there as long as possible, as long as they're able. If that means until they die, that's their preference. And but they can't do things around the house for themselves anymore, maybe because of a physical limitation. So they need some help staying in their own home, and that means bringing someone in from an outside source and helping them do those small tasks around the house that they can no longer do. Some families need someone who can maybe stay with their parent for an extended period of time, maybe overnight, or maybe someone to just monitor that they're taking their medications on time, that they're taking everything they need to take. So it can be something from housekeeping and laundry and yard work, maybe someone even to drive them to and from doctor's appointments, to get their hair done. Some of those services are done currently by assisted living facilities, but these elderly folks are people who are still living at home, independently in their own home. And they want to stay there as long as they can. It becomes very traumatic for them when they have to be, or when they're forced to move out of their home.
Do you have service providers that can also assist seniors to move out of their home, to consolidate the possessions, to find nursing and retirement facilities?
Yes, there are services that can come in and help them pack up their home, help them actually go through the contents of their home, help them downsize if they need to downsize from, say, a large home into a smaller apartment, or if they're going into assisted living where they're going to have their own apartment, but they can't take all the contents of their home with them. So yes, there are services. I can network them to those services and have that service actually go out and give them an estimate of the cost to do that. So that's how I prefer to work, is with the service providers themselves. Usually what I do when I make that connection, I know what the client needs because they've told me and I've written that down. Then I will call a service provider and say, here's what my client needs. Is this something that you can do for them at a fair price? And then if they say, yes, we can do that, then I will put them in touch with the client. And if the client is happy with the work that is done after the service has been provided, when I follow up with the client to make sure the quality of service was good and that it was done at a reasonable price, that gives me feedback that I've selected the right provider for that particular client's needs. So it's not something that everybody can do, but you have to be really in touch with the senior market to know what the seniors need and to know what the service providers can give them.
Okay. And so you work on both ends. You work with the seniors, you work with the providers, and you charge a fee for your services. Can they contact you for a complimentary consultation?
They can call me for consultation. I don't charge the senior clients, do not pay me.
Okay.
They pay the provider for the service. And then the provider of that service will pay me a finder's fee for that warm contact lead that I've provided to them. So I'm actually finding business for these service providers. And so they're willing to pay because many of them are small business entrepreneurs who don't really have a budget for public relations or advertising. And so they're relying on word of mouth referrals. So I provide that word of mouth referral.
So are you not just looking for seniors and their families that could use the service, you're also looking for service providers that could contact you to be one of your suppliers?
Absolutely. If they do any kind of work in the home that an elderly person might need, and it could be something as simple as coming in and checking all of their smoke detectors. The fire department will do that for free once a year, but sometimes they need batteries changed, sometimes they need light bulbs changed, sometimes they need maybe a shelf put in their closet, or they might need someone to come in and do some light yard work for them, put their trash out on the curb for them once a week. Simple things like that. If there are service providers who want to be on call to a client, they can also arrange to do that.
So it seems like everything and anything that somebody who is a senior may not be capable of doing themselves, you could find somebody to do that for them, whether it be cleaning or moving furniture or doing some yard work, or what about pet watching, anything like that?
Yeah, absolutely. Anything of that nature, whatever a senior might need in their home. And sometimes I get calls from the adult children of these elderly clients, and they want to have an assessment done of the home to see if it's a safe and secure environment, but also to find out if it might be time to start thinking about transitioning mom or dad from their own home into assisted living. So I can go into the home and do that home assessment and make sure that it is safe and secure for them to stay at home, or it is time to transition them to another facility.
Okay. Well, that's very, very important, because there's a lot of seniors that could get hurt not knowing that their house is not safe. Because they're doing a self-evaluation. It's better to have somebody from the outside come in and take a look at it.
Absolutely. And a lot of the seniors have lived in their own home for many, many, many years. And they don't want to move out now just because they're incapable of doing a few things around the house. But sometimes it's helpful to know that because of their age, maybe they need to have some grab bars put in the bathroom now to help them so they don't slip and fall. Slips, falls are a large risk for seniors that live at home alone, because if they fall and they don't have first alert or some other way to call 911, then they're in danger.
That changes the whole picture, doesn't it?
It changes the whole picture. So I can call a handyman to come in and install grab bars or bars that lead down a hallway, to make sure they don't slip and fall there. Looking at, what kind of rugs or carpet do they have in the home? Are they going to slip and fall on a rug that they trip over, So it's important to go in and find out and eliminate some of those risks if possible.
Would you be able to provide things like emergency contact services, easy-to-use cell phones, telephones for people that maybe don't see very well? They're looking to contact their family. You mentioned slip and fall. There's services out there that provide devices that'll detect that a fall has happened. Do you have connections for those too?
I can make those connections.
Okay.
I'm very resourceful, and I can find those resources that they need. If they're looking for a manufacturer of a device, if they're looking for a telephone where they can actually see who's calling them and look at the conversation, I can find those manufacturers for them, and I can provide that information to their families. Sometimes the senior themselves can't afford that kind of service, but the adult children want to put it in place for the safety and security of their loved ones.
What would be the best way to get in touch with you, Marty, if somebody wanted to use your services?
Best way to get in touch with me is by phone. I can solve a lot of problems in a 5-minute phone conversation. So I don't necessarily have to see anyone eyeball to eyeball, but I can often refer them directly over the phone. So they can call me at 317-797-9598. That number is available 24/7. That's my direct cell phone line, and I don't mind taking calls any hour of the day or night. If there's a crisis or an emergency, I want to be able to help. They can also, if they don't want me to send information to them by email, I can do that. Senior Connections 2012@gmail.com is my email for Senior Connections.
And that's on the screen also?
That's on the screen.
All right, very good.
So,
Well, thank you, Marty, for coming today and being my guest. And
Thank you.
wish you good luck, and make sure that you take advantage of Marty's services, and don't be afraid to give her a call. She'll give you a complimentary telephone consultation to
Absolutely.
start with. Right? Very good. Thanks, Marty.
thank you for having
All
me.
right. Very good.